The Philadelphia 76ers are the most underrated team in basketball, and as of right now, they will make their first Eastern Conference Finals under Joel Embiid. Now, I've been talking myself into this really all off season when you look at the entirety of the East. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it is wide open. It's anyone's Eastern Conference to win right now, especially with the injuries to Tyrese Haliburton, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard. The top three teams per se in the Eastern Conference, obviously with the Pacers making it to the finals last year, the Celtics winning the championship the year before, the Milwaukee Bucks are always competitive with Dame and Giannis. And so right now with those three injuries, the East is wide open. And I look at the Philadelphia 76ers as a team that on paper can absolutely beat the teams of the likes of the New York Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Those are really the top two teams in the East as of right now that everyone believes will make it to the finals. But I believe it's wide open. Last night watching Philadelphia battle in the fourth quarter, win this game, come back, VJ Edgecombe absolutely went off. Tyrese Maxey with 40 points, this backcourt with 74 in total. They passed the eye test in game one. And I know maybe that's a lot to say after watching one game, but with everything considered, Joel Embiid did nothing last night. He only played 20 minutes. I think it was because of the injury still, not wanting to work him in all the way yet. Long season. His goal is to play all of the games, but we know with Embiid, that's never been the case throughout his career. So you're trying to slowly work him into it. He only had 4 points, and you still beat the Boston Celtics, who, with everything considered, they've owned you over the last few years. The Celtics have really done damage against the 76ers, whether it's been the regular season or the playoffs. But this was a big win for Philadelphia, not only to set the tone for the rest of the season, but to have that belief that, hey, we can go on a run here. We can go on a run with the talent that we have. And when you look at this depth chart, when you look at this team on paper, it feels like they can come together and go on a run and make the finals. And I know that may sound crazy, but you have to hear me out here. Tyrese Maxey, unbelievable player. 40 points last night against the Celtics. We all understand he can be this guy that can give you 40 points on any given night. He's one of the elite scorers in the game. So twitchy, so fun to watch. This backcourt overall for the 76ers now with Maxey and with Edgecombe having 74 points. You not only have those two, with VJ Edgecombe being the third overall pick out of Baylor, this player that can give you great offensive production, great juice, but a player that is hungry to get on the court and is hungry to play defense, a great tone setter. You need one of those types of guys in a rotation, in a starting five. You need someone that's going to be an absolute junkyard dog on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what VJ Edgecombe brings to the 76ers that I don't think they've had over the last few years. They've got a lot of scoring. They've got a lot of guys that can hit shots, a lot of guys that can get it done in the one-on-one game, the ISO ball, you name it, with Embiid, with George, with Tyrese Maxey, even with Jared McCain and Quentin Grimes. Those guys can knock down shots, but you need a true alpha male on the defensive side of the ball. And I believe that's the tone that VJ Edgecombe brings to this Sixers team. And that's why I love not only this draft pick for the 34 points that he can give you on opening night, the most in this century, but just the absolute junkyard dog that he can bring on the defensive side of the basketball as well. So that's great news for Philadelphia. Not only that, you drafted Jared McCain in the first round last year, who in a weaker first round, in a weaker draft class overall, he was really the diamond in the rough. They took him in the middle of the first round. He was a guy that was on pace last year to win the Rookie of the Year. He was on pace to win it, had the knee injury, he was out the rest of the season. But a lot of people are quick to forget that in the 23 games that he played and in the 8 games that he started, he was averaging over 15 points per game and was really good for this Sixers team. Was a great three-point shooter, could knock down shots, and ultimately when you have Joel Embiid, a guy that attracts so much attention from defenses, similar to Nikola Jokic, a guy that can also pass at a high level too, you need people who can knock down shots, and Jared McCain is extremely valuable to this team. Now he had this hand surgery and he will return at some point this season. So when you get him back, this backcourt is not only extremely talented, but it's extremely youthful. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jared McCain. Not only that, you have Quentin Grimes, who came over in a trade last year, who was unbelievable in the minutes that he played. Now I understand there were a lot of injuries, so he had to come in But in the minutes that he played and in the role that he nearly had 22 points per game. This is an extremely deep backcourt with 4 great young players. I'm excited to see what this team can do out of this backcourt. Now, in terms of the front court, of course, you have Joel Embiid. And when you have a healthy Joel Embiid, no matter how you cut the cake, he's a top 5 to top 3 player in the world when healthy. That is not debatable. He has an MVP. Outside of Jokic, he could potentially have more MVPs over the last few years if it weren't for Jokic. But Joel Embiid is a guy that, if he can stay healthy, that's been a big if over the last few years. I understand that a lot of people are frustrated with the lack of games that he's played. Last year, he only played 19. The year before, only 39. But when you look at that 2023 season, folks, that would have been his best ever year playing basketball, because a lot of people felt like in 22, when they finally gave him that MVP award, when he had 33 points per game, 10 boards, and 4 assists, a lot of people felt like, okay, this is voter fatigue. They just want to give it to him a year. Now, when you looked at that next year in 2023, he was almost putting up 35 points per game, and he did this through 39 games. He had 34.7 points per game, 11 boards, and 5.6 assists. That was the MVP, Joel Embiid. That was the MVP that we were witnessing that season. That was the true MVP year for Embiid, but obviously got injured and couldn't finish out the season. Last year, he only plays 19 games. It turns into the Sixers tankathon, and everyone forgets about this team. But when you have Joel Embiid, and when you make this splash signing to get Paul George, who hasn't necessarily turned into anything major yet, I think we've got to be patient with that move. Even if it's 16 points per game like he brought you last year, and he just occasionally erupts, that's still a valuable piece, because he still has that ability to erupt for 30 points on any given night. So when you have Embiid, who can give you 35 points per game when he's at his maximum, when you have Maxey, who can give you 27 a game, 29 a game when he's playing at his best, if those two guys are being taken away or having quiet nights, you also have to worry about Paul George, who can erupt for 20 to 25 on a consistent basis as well. Then it comes to the shooters. Then it comes to the guys you have in the front court, the other guys you have in the back court. So I think this Philly team on paper has just an extremely depth-oriented roster. They've got guys that can hit the three-point shot. They've got an alpha male defensively. You have a former MVP. I don't see any flaws in this roster, maybe except for the depth in the front court. That's really the only area where it's a little bit weak, but I even think Andre Drummond can come in and give some decent minutes for Embiid, in my opinion. But outside of that, in the NBA, you really only need 7 or 8 players to put together a postseason rotation. For the Sixers, it's not about their talent. It's about, can they stay healthy? It's about, can Paul George stay healthy? Can Embiid stay healthy? Can Jared McCain, who's had 2 injuries now since his rookie season, can he stay healthy? Can this team stay healthy? Because, folks, if they can, I don't know how anyone in the Eastern Conference is going to beat them when they're at full strength. I really don't, because of the fact that you have the injury to Halliburton and to Tatum. I think the Celtics and Pacers have been the 2 best teams in the East over the last 2 years, in my opinion. With those 2 injuries, you're taking out effectively the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. I'm not in love with the New York Knicks. I know they're a good basketball team. They made it to the conference finals. I'm not in love with them, and I think they are beatable, and we saw that with the pace of play that the Pacers played with last year. And I think the Cavaliers, too, they've showed that they can be beatable in the postseason, considering they won all these games last year. They look so good. Atkinson won the Coach of the Year, deservedly so. The Cavs won 64 games last year, folks, and they got bounced in the second round. Now, the Pacers were unbelievable, but still, they are beatable, and I feel like with the Sixers firing on all cylinders, and with this team at full health, I don't believe anyone can beat them, folks. I don't believe anyone can beat them. I loved what I saw on opening night. The ability to fight back, win this game on the road, hostile environment, no Embiid, no Paul George, no Jared McCain. Huge win for the 76ers. I'm all in on this team, and I do believe that they will win the Eastern Conference. I'm Caden Kubler, and thank you guys for watching.